Hi, in this video I want to explain you why I use data-driven messaging to get B2B SaaS startups to 1 million in ARR. And first of all, quick intro. My name is Denis Shatalin and I helped over 100 B2B SaaS startups in recent years. I helped them generate mid-8 figures in client results and book over 2,500 meetings, numerous times helping them go from empty calendars to landing 20, 40 and 60 meetings a week. The picture on the right, I got a 21-year-old from 0 to 170k in sales, and after he bought his dream Porsche Cayenne in cash, he gifted me this trip to Maldives, which I'm super proud of. So the definition is that data-driven messaging is a marketing approach for growing software startups that uses campaign data to acquire each new customer cheaper than the previous one. Such way, it's based on the approach of you optimizing your campaign performance, getting new data in, and with every campaign you launch, this way your customer acquisition cost is decreasing over and over. So the problem is you're not making enough sales because your messaging sucks. And early days of me growing my startups and reality of having weak messaging looked something like this. I was chasing prospects, I was endlessly making discounts, I was grinding just to book 1 to 3 sales calls a week, and when these people would show up to calls, many times they would be unprepared, making it practically impossible for me to sell my software products. And I got tired of this. Then years of learning, $500,000 spent on my marketing experiments across all channels, and also millions spent by clients, and also thousands of calls later. The new reality of using data-driven messaging, and it looks the following way: averaging 20 to 60 calls a week, startups growing by 6 figures in revenue, and prospects that my guys are booking are asking for a demo, many times showing up at ridiculous time zones. I mean, asking for a demo, and then the prospects, they schedule even at 1 or 2 a.m. just because that's how much they are intrigued to see the actual product. And this is how powerful good messaging is when it comes to marketing. So why data-driven messaging works so well? Knowledge on how to correctly use data from your campaigns and how to scale allows you to get higher reply rates. Higher reply rates bring you more calls. More calls bring you more sales. And the more sales you get, the better your ability to run more campaigns, which means more volume and insights, which gets you even better messaging, and then even more calls and sales. And the outcome is that you start growing month over month by 2 to 5 times quicker. Then some recent client results. And by the way, all the interviews are on the saascamp.com or on my YouTube channel. Arman from 120k to 400k ARR in 3 months. Then Ilya from 0 to 32k MRR in 8 months. Noah 62k in 6 days. Brian empty calendar to 23 demos booked in the first week. And Will from empty calendar to more meetings that 2 of us can handle, and 40k plus pounds in new sales. Here are some of the screenshots. Noah in top right, then I got Andrea in top left, who inside the program landed a 30k a month enterprise deal, and few more pictures here and here, and I got a lot more. Fantastic results, Dennis, but what's realistic in my case? Love that you're asking, because I love these stories too, but looking at them you may feel that damn, it would feel awesome, but I'm not sure how I'd get there too. Fair, because making 62k in 6 days doesn't happen every time for a 20k MRR startup. But all founders who commit to the program for 4 months, on average, start booking an extra 8 calls every week, cut CPA in half, and increase their close rate by 15%. So how exactly we applied data-driven messaging with those startups, and what does the process look like? We rebuilt the infrastructure so it became scalable and could generate 20 to 60 calls a week. Then we ran campaigns, got data, and improved the messaging, and then we scaled volume. This is all we've done. Once you join, we'll follow the same steps to scale your startup too. So how I speed up results for founders who actually join and are accepted inside SaaS Camp. I guide you through setting everything up so you don't make any small yet very expensive mistakes. Then I share training material based on generating 55 mil for over 100 startups. I write your copy for your outbound and ad campaigns because of course it's very niche specific and stage specific too. Then I write you a custom sales script adjusted for your personality and niche, because the issue I had with many sales coaches is that they would give me some super crazy framework. However, when I would be saying different words, it sucked and just it felt super off and it wasn't working. That's exactly why I write custom scripts for everyone. Then I'm gonna review your sales call recordings and give you feedback so you close more. And I will audit your campaign metrics twice a week. So of course, thanks to that, we're able to scale so rapidly. So if you want to hit 1 million ARR faster and save yourself a few years of going in the different directions, apply for my coaching at saascamp.com. Now, why data-driven messaging is the best approach for getting your B2B SaaS to the first 1 million in annual revenue. It allows you to find product market fit and hit 1 million following a proven way instead of wasting years and a lot of money like I did with a bunch of my ventures. Then it is very predictable because I hated when one good month was followed by two bad ones. And here, as we know what works, we can succeed regardless of the channel and stage. Let me give you an example. One time I was running a LinkedIn ad funnel and I had some issues with it and got my account. They told me you cannot run ads anymore. And of course, first I was like stressed about it, but then same week I went to Facebook, started a Facebook ad campaign and started booking calls there. And that's exactly why it's so important for you to have winning and data-driven messaging, because then once you have the insights, you can practically succeed with any channel that does make sense for your startup. And thirdly, it's extremely scalable because one of the clients right now is applying it at 220k MRR, and another one I done it with was at 530k monthly. So when it is not for you, so because I don't want you or me to waste time, approaching it with little focus is not going to get you much results. It requires for you to care about sales, and spoiler alert, to hit 1 million ARR, 85% of your energy has to be on making more sales. Then it's going to be very hard for you to scale in a competitive market if you aren't willing to dedicate energy nor budget to making things work, because your competitors have tens of millions in funding and you need creativity, effort, and money to beat them. It works with two, but it's way easier if you have all these three. Then when else it's not for you. If you don't have a sellable product with at least a couple of sales, well, it makes sense once you have something that can be sold and you want to start booking like 5 to 20 consistent calls every week. If you still haven't sold anything, you just need to figure this part out and to make sure that, well, at least someone is willing and does pay for your product. If it's B2C or too low ticket, then it also doesn't make much sense, especially if it's like under 100, $150 a month. It can work, but it requires heavy marketing spend and willingness to go with ads. It's like ideal for products sold at 500 to 1K to 2K a month and above. You've seen the picture of Andrea, who closed a 360K annual deal inside. So, answering a few questions you may have now. What's the ROI and when can I expect to make 50 times my money? Look, how quickly you can start making money from your campaigns depends on how close you are to message market fit. Sometimes you can hit a bullseye in week one, but sometimes different startups may need 3 to 4 months to see the real impact. From 100 plus times of applying it with founders, I've never seen anyone commit for 4 months and not see significant results with their pipeline. Also, ultimately, it's up to you to decide what the results are going to look like. Because I once joined earlier this year, I joined a 36K coaching program and I committed to it. And it only took me a couple of months to make 3 times my money back. and then make 6 figures from the strategies I learned there. Again, with everything in life, you are the one who decides what type of results you're gonna get with this. You've already seen numerous other founders succeeding, so I'll not talk on that much more. But will it work for my product, stage, channel? The principle of applying data from your campaigns to improve your messaging and lower the CPA works regardless of the niche, stage, and channel. And you've seen examples of it. That's why it has worked for over 100 plus startups that I worked with in every niche, stage, and channel imaginable. Of course, okay, I did not do TikTok ads yet, but again, the same principles apply. We already use data and analytics in our marketing. How is this any different? Look, I get that you may be monitoring many numbers already, but if you are not meeting your calls booked and revenue growth KPIs, this means there are things you and your team are missing because you don't know what you don't know. Plus, most likely you don't know exactly how to apply data from your campaigns to lower your cost per acquisition. Otherwise, you'd have already booked more calls than you can handle. Then I need a lot of money to make it work. Also wrong, because depending on your ad budget and MRR, we structure this strategy accordingly. LinkedIn outbound gets you to the first 5 demos a week for only $100 a month in software costs. But of course, the faster you want to move, the more money we would allocate into ads, as long as ads do make sense for your product. How much time do I need to invest? The more time you invest at the start, the quicker you'll have everything up and running. Initial campaign setup takes 2 to 3 weeks, then optimizing will roughly be 5 hours per week. Time required for setup depends on the channels we'll be doing, and we define which marketing channel or channels are optimal for your startup on the one-to-one go-to-market strategy call once you join. Then I need to have a flawless product to get such results. That's also wrong, you don't. All the testimonials you've seen have been with good enough products, though it shouldn't be that awful that you're getting constant refund requests, because otherwise your focus is not going to be there because, well, we both get it. It's just the mindset shift. Instead of thinking more features would bring you more sales, the guys who you've seen focused on selling they focused on selling and invested in coaching to speed up results by a few years. Then I tried similar things before and it didn't work. Well, sad story, so have I. And well, who hasn't? You have to ask yourself, is hitting 1 million ARR really worth the risk for you? And if not, you might be better off by finding a job. Look, if I never moved on after throwing 6K on a shitty agency in the first year of me doing business, which was like nearly half my money back then, I'd never get close to where I am today. And entrepreneurs make money by being rewarded for 2 things: taking risk and creating value. If you aren't making as much as you like, it's either you're not taking enough risk or you're not creating enough value. So you have 2 options. One, to stay where you are, which is like low short-term risk and no reward, or practically high long-term risk of going bankrupt because things are only gonna be getting worse. Second is to invest in changing where you are, which is relative short-term risk, but then it's high to, as you've seen, insanely high long-term reward. If you believe you will make more money by learning how to acquire leads cheaper, more effectively, and at a larger scale, I promise I can teach you that. Arman was unsure about joining too, and also I think he's been watching my YouTube channel for quite some time before applying. But one day he got tired of looking at his flat growth rate and decided to apply. We started by analyzing his past campaigns, his niche, and his go-to-market strategy. From all the channels, I advised him to do a specific Facebook ads funnel and showed him how to run it in his case while applying data-driven messaging. Following my guidance, he booked a full calendar of calls in the first 2 weeks. Then I showed him how to improve his messaging using the new data he got, and I optimized his sales process as well, because it was not only him selling, but a few other guys on his team as well, even at that moment. This is how many new calls we booked by the end of week 6. Right, so outcome. Booking 60 demos every week for the past months, and full capacity for him and 2 other sales guys all this time. Already went from 120k to 400k in ARR in the past 3 months, and on pace to hit 700k by month 6. It took me years of learning to apply 3 major fixes in their customer acquisition, which brought them 280k in new ARR. That's like 93 grand per every piece of advice. So you can make it work too. If you feel you might also just be 3 fixes away from making an extra 280k and you don't want to miss out on that, simply go to saascam.com and apply. I will be looking forward to helping you out.